A Melbourne ultramarathon runner badly burnt in a bushfire in the Kimberley in 2011 is bravely returning to the scene of her ordeal. Kate Sanderson is going back to raise money for the doctors who helped save her life.
It's been 2.5 years since Melbourne ultramarathon runner Kate Sanderson came close to death in a rocky gorge, trapped by a wildfire with nowhere to go.
It wasn't until we were well in the gorge that we just heard this sound of like a roar of a jet or something, and we looked up and there was a fire a couple of 100 metres away. We all knew that, it's supposed to run in front of a fire or run up a hill, but they were the two options we had.
Kate and 5 other runners hoped the summit would be rocky, with shelter from the inferno raging at their backs. They couldn't see that it was covered with grass until they were there and it was too late.
And I literally just looked behind and it was seconds away. I could feel the heat already and I just didn't have time to do anything but just crouch into a little crevice.
Now alone and terrified, Kate tipped the last of her water over her head. Seconds later, fire was everywhere.
My shoulder was alight and I just started running, and because it was on quite a steep hill and I had my eyes shut, I just fell and fell and fell, and then I got up and I think falling extinguished the flames.
Alive, but with severe burns to 60% of her body.
My palms were like potato chips, all the skin was peeled up. My legs have just opened up, and so I knew when I got to hospital I was going to go straight into a coma.
Her close friend Turia Pitt was also severely burned. Event organiser Racing the Planet failed to have a medical chopper on standby, forcing Kate and her fellow runners to wait an excruciating 4 hours for rescue. After 3 weeks in a coma, Kate spent 6 months in hospital, undergoing around 30 operations, and there are still more to come. Her left foot has been amputated and she's lost all nerve function in her fingers, forcing surgeons to fuse them so she can still use her hands. For many, after all of this, returning to the Kimberley would be unthinkable, but not so for this remarkable 38-year-old. Kate's preparing to go back for the first time since the fire to ride the 700-kilometre Gibb River Challenge and raise money for the Royal Flying Doctor Service, which helped save her life. Despite a natural tendency for shyness, Kate's determined to help the RFDS, and so she's braving a temporary moment in the spotlight to host a public charity luncheon.
Kate's story is certainly an inspirational one, and we're very happy to be working with Kate as she raises some money for the Flying Doctors. We'll be using the money towards our aeromedical services as well as the primary health services.
The RFDS tends to a patient every 2 minutes around Australia, a service which costs $270 million a year to sustain. For more information on Kate's lunch on March 15 and how you can get involved, visit the 7 News website or search a charity luncheon on Facebook. Christy Mayer, 7 News.